What is going on, Eagles family? I need you to listen up because there is a massive situation developing regarding our star defensive tackle that has everyone in Philadelphia talking. We all know how much potential he has, but the front office is clearly hitting the brakes on a long-term deal, and the reasons why might shock you. From health concerns to serious maturity questions, why are we waiting to pay our guy? You need to hear the full breakdown of this situation before you jump to conclusions. Smash that like button, subscribe, and comment your thoughts below. Let's dive into it. Jalen Carter stands as one of the most impactful defensive tackles in the NFL today. As a key contributor to the team's Super Bowl victory, his play in the postseason proved his ability to change the outcome of championship games. The organization recognizes that without his presence, securing that second Lombardi trophy would have been a significantly more difficult endeavor. However, despite his status as a cornerstone of the defensive line, the Eagles have not yet finalized a contract extension for him. While it is true that the front office has historically prioritized securing premium draft picks, having signed Jalen Hurts, Landon Dickerson, Cam Jurgens, and Devonta Smith to deals prior to May in previous years, they have chosen a different path with Carter this season. The team is currently taking a patient approach, opting to wait before committing to a massive payday. The negotiation process remains open and a deal could still materialize in the coming weeks, but the current lack of an extension highlights a notable deviation from the team's recent standard operating procedure. This situation brings into focus exactly why the Eagles are being hesitant with their star tackle. The organization is carefully evaluating several factors before finalizing any long-term financial commitment to the player. As fans chant "Fly Eagles Fly" across the city, the primary question remains whether Carter will continue to be the dominant force required to sustain the team's success. The Eagles want to see more consistent production moving forward, and the current delay serves as a tactical pause in the ongoing development of the roster. By assessing his performance trends and recent off-field history, the team is effectively conducting a thorough review of the investment they are about to make in their defensive anchor. The decline in statistical production serves as a major factor in the current contract stalemate between the Eagles and Jalen Carter. Although he received a Pro Bowl nod, his performance last season did not mirror the high-level impact he delivered during his breakout 2024 campaign. Specifically, his total pressures, quarterback hits, and sack numbers all saw a downward trend compared to the previous year. While his pressure rate showed a marginal increase from 10.4% to 10.8%, the tangible results in terms of quarterback disruption and tackles for loss significantly decreased, dropping from 12 to 5. This dip in efficiency has raised questions regarding his ability to maintain a high level of play over a full 16-game schedule. When looking at why this matters for the Eagles right now, the primary concern is the reliability of the defensive front. The team is building its defensive philosophy around the ability of players like Carter to command double teams and provide consistent pressure on the opposing signal caller. A drop in production at this stage of his career, especially when he is eligible for a massive financial commitment, forces the front office to weigh his ceiling against his current output. The team is looking for a player who can be a perennial defensive force, and last season, they simply did not get that level of dominance they experienced previously. This statistical inconsistency is exactly what the front office is looking to resolve before finalizing any long-term contract structure. They need to be certain that the player who contributed so significantly to the Super Bowl run is the same one who will be lining up for the foreseeable future, justifying a major financial investment in the defensive tackle position. The physical health of Jalen Carter has emerged as a significant point of concern for the Eagles organization during these contract discussions. Throughout last season, Carter struggled with persistent shoulder issues that hindered his ability to engage in strength training and lifting routines. The necessity for a procedure in December, which caused him to miss 3 games, underscores the severity of the injury that plagued him since week 3. Even during the previous training camp, his shoulders were a recurring problem, limiting his participation in team drills. This physical limitation brings up a logical question for the organization. If a player is unable to build strength during the season due to chronic injury, how can the team expect consistent, high-level production on the field? These health issues provided the backdrop for his choice to hold in during mandatory minicamp, as he sat out team drills while negotiations stalled. The team cannot ignore the fact that these injuries negatively affected his on-field performance for the duration of the year. For an organization that prides itself on roster durability, having a primary defensive piece who is consistently hampered by shoulder pain complicates the decision to provide a record-breaking deal. The Eagles are likely looking for reassurance that Carter can overcome these physical obstacles and maintain the conditioning required for the rigors of an NFL season. If he cannot demonstrate that he is healthy and capable of full participation, It naturally impacts how the front office approaches the financial terms of a potential extension. They are prioritizing a long-term outlook where the player remains a constant presence on the field rather than a limited participant dealing with recurring injuries that detract from his overall effectiveness and impact in defensive schemes. Beyond the numbers and injuries, Jalen Carter has faced scrutiny regarding his maturity and the off-field incidents that have marked his tenure in the league. The most notable example from last season was the incident involving Dallas Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott, where Carter was disqualified and flagged for unsportsmanlike conduct before the opening play of the game. This specific lapse in judgment, fueled by his response to an opponent's action, is seen as a stain on his professional resume. Such maturity issues are being weighed by the team, especially given his past involvement in the tragic street racing crash that resulted in the loss of lives in Georgia. The organization has had to navigate the public and private implications of these events while considering how they align with their internal standards for leadership and team-first behavior. When evaluating these incidents, the Eagles are determining whether they can mitigate the risks associated with his off-field decision-making. The spitting incident in particular demonstrated a lack of composure that the team does not want to see from a foundational player. This is a critical component of the Why This Matters narrative. The team isn't just paying for stats, they are investing in the stability and character of their defensive leader. If the organization feels these maturity issues are ongoing, it directly influences their willingness to reset the market for a defensive tackle. They need to feel confident that the player will represent the franchise positively and remain focused on his duties rather than becoming a distraction. Every decision regarding his future contract will reflect this careful balance between his clear, elite physical talent and the personal conduct risks that the team must manage throughout the duration of any long-term agreement. The final piece of this puzzle lies in the specific strategy the Eagles utilize when handling contract extensions. The front office is famously committed to finding deals that remain team-friendly, rather than strictly aiming to reset the market for any given position. This was evident when they signed Jalen Hurts. While he briefly held the title of highest-paid quarterback, the contract was structured in a way that kept him as the 12th highest-paid at the position in terms of average annual salary shortly thereafter. Similarly, the extension for Landon Dickerson was designed to keep the team's cap flexibility intact. In contrast, Carter and his representation, led by Drew Rosenhaus, appear to be targeting a market-resetting deal. Partially inspired by the contracts signed by Jeffrey Simmons, the Eagles are not eager to break their own mold for a player who, while talented, has shown inconsistencies in production, health, and maturity. The organization is willing to wait and see if Carter can deliver a more disciplined and productive season before they agree to terms that satisfy his representation's demands. While they had hoped to finalize an extension this past spring, the current stalemate reflects a firm desire to hold to their financial principles. If Carter can prove he has the consistency they demand and can demonstrate the maturity the franchise expects, the path to a contract agreement will become much clearer. For now, the team is comfortable waiting, forcing the situation to play out as they assess their long-term roster needs. They remain open to a deal, but they refuse to sacrifice their overall financial strategy, ensuring that when the time comes to pay, it aligns with their organizational goals for sustained competitiveness in the years to come.